Filed under what's old is new again are the alarming steps Michael Springmann, a high-level State Department official, took to inform the federal government that unqualified foreign applicants were being issued visas prior to 9/11. In Saudi Arabia, I was repeatedly ordered by high-level State Department officials to issue visas to unqualified applicants, Springmann told the BBC prior to the 9/11 attack. These were essentially people who had no ties either to Saudi Arabia or to their own country. I complained bitterly at the time there. I returned to the U.S., I complained to the State Department here, to the General Accounting Office, to the Bureau of Diplomatic Security, and to the Inspector General's office. I was met with silence.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Fast forward approximately 15 years later, and Obama sounds like a broken record being played in an empty hall.
Meanwhile, here at home, the Department of Homeland Security is updating its alert system to help the American people stay vigilant and safe. And as always, our extraordinary men and women in uniform continue to put their lives on the line in this campaign.
Meanwhile, the Mirror UK reports hackers have claimed that a number of Islamic State supporters' social media accounts are being run from internet addresses linked to the Department of Work and Pensions. The hacking collective showed Mirror Online details of the IP addresses used by a trio of separate digital jihadis to access Twitter accounts, which were then used to carry out online recruitment and propaganda campaigns. At first glance, the IP addresses seem to be based in Saudi Arabia, but upon further inspection using specialist tools, they appeared to link back to the Department of Work and Pensions. The British government has admitted selling large numbers of internet addresses to Saudi Arabia, but has refused to reveal how much it has earned from the transaction. Although the government announced plans to auction its surplus IP numbers, it can now be revealed that a chunk of them went to Saudi Telecom and the Saudi-based mobile telecommunications company. Of course, the inept, record-breaking, tax-sucking behemoth known as the U.S. federal government, with all of its trillions spent on surveilling the average American's phone calls, emails, and browser history, and storing it all in a huge database guarded by psychotic thugs, can't be bothered with monitoring the social media of potential terrorists entering the United States. The Hill reports Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson decided against ending a secret U.S. policy that prohibits immigration officials from reviewing social media posts of foreigners applying for U.S. visas. A DHS spokesman told ABC News that in the fall of 2014, the department began 3 pilot programs to include social media in vetting, but officials say it's still not a widespread policy and review is underway. Could the massacre that occurred in San Bernardino have been prevented had the feds actually done what most Americans thought they'd been doing all along? Probably not. The TSA can barely do their job, sporting a pathetic 95% failure rate. The status quo is tearing into 2 separate realities. The arrogant, compulsive fabrication the criminals in Washington, D.C. are still hawking, and another reality that for most Americans is a big pill to swallow. The growing evidence that layers of $1 trillion shadow government's nefarious inner workings are exponentially coming to light. For many Americans, admitting that your president is a traitor based upon all of the evidence is difficult to look squarely in the eye.
You know, George W. Bush, after he staged 9/11 with his daddy, he said, "You're either with us or with those Al-Qaeda terrorists they hired on record." Well, I got news for the New World Order. You're either with humanity or you're against us, and we're coming.
John Bound for Infowars.com.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there was a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more Homeland Security while sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch the Assad Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level.